Did you know that nearly 48 million Americans get sick every single year from foodborne illnesses? And over 3,000 of them die, with a large number being seniors. The CDC warns that older adults face way more danger because their immune systems just aren't what they used to be. But here's the scary part. A lot of these illnesses begin in your own fridge. That's right. The same place you trust to keep your food safe might actually be turning some of your everyday items into ticking health bombs. In fact, brand new studies reveal that storing some foods the wrong way in your fridge can crank up your risk of food poisoning, strip away vital nutrients, and even cause dangerous chemical reactions. And here's the worst part. Most people don't have a clue it's happening. If you've been tossing fruits, veggies, or pantry items into the fridge without a second thought, you might be unknowingly walking right into a disaster. Stick around until the end, because what you're about to learn could literally protect your health or even save your life. Before we dive in, drop a comment below and tell us where you're tuning in from. And hey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want more eye-opening videos like this. All right, let's jump straight in. Number 9. Bread. Let's talk about bread, that cozy must-have food so many seniors keep nearby. You might assume tossing it in the fridge helps it last longer, but surprise, it's one of the worst things you can do. Here's why. There's a scientific process called retrogradation. Basically, when bread gets cold, the starch molecules inside start to crystallize. Sounds fancy, but it means your soft loaf dries out and goes stale way faster than you'd expect. This doesn't take weeks. It kicks in almost instantly. So what does that mean for you? That soft, fluffy bread you love will turn dry and stale way faster in the fridge than if you had just left it out on the counter. That's right. The fridge isn't keeping your bread fresh. It's actually making it go stale even quicker. You might not see the change right away, but you'll absolutely taste it. The texture turns tough, dry, and crumbly. Suddenly, toast feels like cardboard and sandwiches lose their joy. But here's where things get even worse. When bread loses moisture in the fridge, it sets the perfect stage for mold once you bring it back out. Mold spores thrive in that damp, uneven moisture that forms during chilling and reheating. It's a nasty surprise waiting to happen. And moldy bread isn't just nasty. It can be downright dangerous. Certain types of mold release mycotoxins, toxic compounds that can lead to serious health problems, especially for older adults with weaker immune systems. If you're trying to make your loaf last longer, here's the smarter move. Freeze it. The freezer actually stops mold in its tracks and slows staling without ruining the texture like the fridge does. Just slice your bread ahead of time and defrost it when you need it. But that fridge, it's a total no-go zone for your daily loaf. Keep your bread in a sealed container or bread box at room temperature for a few days and toss the rest in the freezer. Don't let the cold rob your bread of freshness or put your health at risk. Number 8. Onions. This one might catch you off guard. Onions don't belong in the fridge. It's a common mistake, but it can cause more trouble than you'd think. Onions come with a natural papery skin that acts like armor, keeping moisture out and locking in their flavor and crunch. But once you toss them in the fridge, that protective barrier breaks down and everything starts to go sideways fast. The cold, damp air in your fridge makes onions soak up moisture like a sponge, especially once they've been cut. That means you end up with a slimy texture, weird flavor, and in many cases, mold creeping in. But it gets worse. Odor transfer is a real problem. Onions are super pungent, and in the fridge, they release sulfur compounds that break down fast and can invade everything around them, making your other foods taste and smell off. Ever taken a bite of fruit or butter and thought, why does this taste like onions? That's not your imagination. It's your fridge soaking up those strong onion fumes like a sponge and spreading them around. But there's another serious issue, bacterial contamination. A sliced onion left in the fridge, even if it's covered, can turn into a bacteria factory. Some food myths say onions absorb toxins. Not scientifically true. But what is true? Moist, poorly stored onions can harbor dangerous microbes. Whole onions belong in a dry, dark, and airy spot, like your pantry, Not your fridge. When it comes to cut onions, it's okay to refrigerate them, but only if they're sealed tight and used up fast, preferably within a day or two. But storing whole onions in the cold? That's a guaranteed recipe for spoilage, lost nutrients, and a fridge that smells like a giant onion bomb went off. Number 7. Potatoes. Let's kick things off with a kitchen classic almost everyone throws into the fridge without a second thought: potatoes. But here's the shocking truth. Putting potatoes in the fridge can actually make them dangerous. When raw potatoes sit in cold temperatures, something sneaky starts happening inside. The starch inside them turns into sugar way faster than it should, and that simple shift can lead to serious problems. It might not sound like a big deal at first, but here's where things get downright scary. When you cook or bake those refrigerated potatoes, especially at high heat, those extra sugars can react with amino acids and create a chemical called acrylamide. This stuff has been linked to cancer in animal studies and is currently under the microscope for its impact on humans. And guess what? It doesn't stop there. Sticking potatoes in the fridge doesn't just mess with their safety, it ruins their texture too. They can turn grainy, mushy, and even darker in color, a clear sign of oxidation and nutrient loss. Instead of the warm, hearty comfort food we all crave, you're left with a sweet, soggy mess that could actually be toxic once cooked. Ever wondered why your roasted potatoes tasted weirdly sweet or felt strange in your mouth? Your fridge might be to blame. Potatoes need to be stored in a cool, dark, and dry place, not somewhere cold and damp like your fridge. That's how they stay firm, tasty, and safe to eat. So if you've got a bag chilling in the refrigerator right now, it's time to pull them out, fast, before they turn into a health risk pretending to be dinner. Number 6. Coffee. Yep, coffee is on the list, and for a really good reason. Coffee beans and grounds are super sensitive to moisture, odors, and light. So when you stash them in the fridge, thinking you're keeping them fresh, you're actually doing the opposite. Coffee is hygroscopic, meaning it soaks up moisture and surrounding smells like a sponge. That fridge full of leftovers. Your coffee's absorbing it all, and it's ruining the flavor before you even brew a cup. In the fridge, surrounded by fruits, veggies, and last night's leftovers, your coffee starts absorbing all those random smells. That wrecks the distinct flavor profile of your beans, leaving you with a cup that tastes bitter, flat, or just plain off. But the issue isn't just weird flavors. Moisture is the real enemy here. It sneaks into your coffee and starts breaking it down from the inside out. When coffee sits in the cold, humid air of your fridge, condensation builds up on the beans or grounds, especially every time you open and close the door. That moisture causes clumping, early staling, and a breakdown of the essential oils that give coffee its rich aroma and benefits. One of the big losses? Chlorogenic acids, powerful antioxidants that help support your heart and brain health. But in a cold, damp fridge, those health-boosting acids start breaking down way too fast. Over time, coffee stored in the fridge doesn't just taste flat and lifeless, it also loses its health benefits. Even worse, if the grounds get damp and aren't in a sealed container, mold can start to grow, fast. The fix? Skip the fridge altogether. Store your coffee in an opaque, airtight container at room temperature, tucked away in a dark cabinet. That's how you keep it fresh, flavorful, and totally safe. Number 5. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of the most misunderstood foods when it comes to the fridge. A lot of people think chilling them helps them last longer, but the truth? Cold temperatures wreck tomatoes. Their taste, their texture, all of it. Here's the science. Tomatoes are actually tropical fruits, and they absolutely hate the cold. When you stick them in the fridge, that chilly air disrupts their natural enzymes and basically slams the brakes on ripening. That ripening process, it's where tomatoes get all their flavor. Skip it, and you're stuck with a tomato that's watery, bland, and totally forgettable. And the texture? It takes a huge hit too. Cold stored tomatoes lose their firmness fast, turning into a soft, rubbery mess that's nothing like the juicy, satisfying bite you expect. That perfect burst of flavor from a fresh tomato? Completely ruined in the fridge. What's even more alarming? Cold storage hits tomatoes right where it hurts. Nutrients. Tomatoes are packed with vitamin C, but that powerful vitamin breaks down much faster in chilly temps. So, you're not just losing flavor, you're missing out on key health benefits too. And visually, the skin starts to shrivel and wrinkle, making them look old and tired, even if they're still technically fresh. It's a lose-lose situation hiding in your fridge. Ever sliced into a tomato and found it watery, dull, or just lifeless? That's a big red flag. It's probably been in the fridge. The best way to store tomatoes is at room temperature, away from sunlight and stem side down to lock in moisture. If they're starting to overripen, use them fast or cook them up. Don't just toss them in the fridge thinking it'll help. In reality, you're speeding up their downfall. Number 4. Honey. This one might totally catch you off guard. It's sweet, thick, golden, and seems like it could go anywhere, even in the fridge. But guess what? Putting honey in the refrigerator is one of the worst things you can do. Not only does it wreck the texture, it actually reverses honey's natural preservation powers. Honey is one of the few foods on Earth that never spoils on its own until you throw it in the cold and mess it all up. Put honey in the fridge and it'll crystallize fast. Suddenly, that smooth golden syrup turns grainy, rock hard, and nearly impossible to scoop or spread. You might think, it's just a texture thing, right? Wrong. When honey crystallizes, it traps tiny air pockets, and every time you open that jar, moisture sneaks in. And here's the danger. Moisture is honey's worst enemy, turning a naturally shelf-stable food into one that can spoil. Refrigerated honey can start to ferment, giving it a sour smell and taste that totally ruins the experience. Even worse, that trapped moisture invites microbes, something honey normally fights off with ease thanks to its low water content and high acidity. But once stored wrong, its natural defenses start to break down. Cold temperatures also slow down the powerful enzymes that give honey its legendary antibacterial punch. So yes, putting honey in the fridge actually makes it less healthy over time. The best move? Keep it in a tightly sealed jar, tucked away in your pantry or cupboard, far from sunlight or heat. That's how it stays smooth, flavorful, and packed with those natural healing compounds. Number 3. Bananas. Bananas are a global favorite, especially for seniors who count on them for their potassium boost and gentle digestion. But tossing them in the fridge, that's the fastest way to ruin everything good about them. Bananas are tropical fruits, built to thrive in warm environments. Stick them in the cold, especially before they're ripe, and their natural enzymes slam to a halt. That means the ripening process completely shuts down, leaving you with bananas that stay hard, lose flavor, and never reach their sweet potential. That cold shock means your bananas might never ripen the right way. They stay hard, bland, and their peel quickly turns gray or black. That nasty discoloration isn't just ugly. It's a clear sign of cold damage. And what's underneath that skin? A banana that's mushy in weird spots, and sometimes even tastes metallic and off. But here's what most people miss. The fridge doesn't just ruin the look and taste. It also damages key antioxidants in bananas, like dopamine and catechins, powerful compounds that help the brain and fight aging in cells. For seniors, those benefits are gold, but the fridge quietly wipes them out, and no one even notices it happening. Even worse, if your banana is already overripe when it hits the fridge, the moisture trapped inside the peel creates the perfect environment for mold, especially around the stem. So instead of extending shelf life, you're actually inviting mold right into your fruit. Bananas belong at room temperature, ideally hanging or sitting in a fruit bowl where air can move freely around them. Got too many ripe ones? Peel and freeze them in a container for smoothies or baking later. But please, don't chill them hoping to buy time. You'll end up with bananas that have lost their nutrients, their texture, and their purpose. Number 2, olive oil. At the top of the list, the most dangerous food to refrigerate, especially for seniors, is olive oil. It's a kitchen must-have, known for its heart-healthy power and cooking versatility. But once it hits the fridge, olive oil goes through solidification. Its healthy fats crystallize, turning it cloudy and partially solid. While that may not sound harmful, Here's the hidden danger. Constant temperature swings from pulling it in and out of the fridge can trigger serious health risks, and most seniors have no idea it's even happening. Every time olive oil goes from cold to warm, its chemical structure gets stressed out, and that speeds up oxidation. This chain reaction can create harmful free radicals and strip away the oil's powerful antioxidants. What started as a heart-healthy hero can quickly turn into something that fuels inflammation, the last thing seniors need. Instead of helping your heart, it could be quietly working against it, all because it was stored in the wrong place. What's truly alarming is that studies now show temperature-stressed olive oil may lead to increased joint inflammation and digestive issues, problems that are already common in older adults. And it doesn't stop there. When olive oil solidifies, it becomes hard to pour, which means more spills, more mess, and even accidental overuse. That sneaky overpour adds extra calories seniors don't need, turning a healthy habit into a hidden dietary trap. And it's not just your health at risk, the flavor takes a serious hit too. Refrigerated olive oil loses its signature fruity, peppery taste, the very thing that makes it a star in heart-healthy Mediterranean-style diets. So what should you do instead? Store it in a dark glass bottle or metal container, tucked away in a cool cabinet, far from heat sources like the stove. When stored right, high-quality olive oil keeps both its flavor and health benefits for up to 2 years from bottling. Number 1. Garlic. Garlic isn't just a flavor booster, it's a superfood packed with sulfur compounds like allicin that support your immune system and even help lower blood pressure. But here's the catch. All those amazing benefits can vanish, or worse, turn harmful, if you store garlic in the fridge. Whole garlic bulbs are built to last weeks or even months at room temperature, as long as they're kept dry, cool, and well ventilated. But once you shove them into the fridge, moisture and cold completely wreck garlic's natural defense system. Once garlic hits the fridge, the cloves start sprouting early, and that's a clear sign its chemistry is falling apart. The bold, sharp flavor you expect. It turns bitter and rubbery, making your dishes taste off. But here's the real kicker. Sprouted garlic loses a ton of its allicin, the very compound that gives it those powerful health benefits. So not only is the taste ruined, the nutrition is too. But here's the scariest part. Refrigerating garlic, especially when it's chopped or minced and mixed with oil, can turn it into a breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, the deadly bacteria that causes botulism. This rare but extremely dangerous illness can lead to paralysis or even death if not treated fast. The FDA has issued serious warnings about storing garlic in oil without the right acidity or refrigeration safeguards. Yet so many people do this without any clue how risky it actually is. Skip the fridge. Instead, store whole garlic bulbs in a mesh bag or open basket right in your pantry. Cool, dry, and perfect for preservation. Got chopped garlic? Use it fast, and if you need to store it, keep it in vinegar or lemon juice to cut down the risk of bacteria. Don't let your fridge steal garlic's power, or worse, turn it into a hidden hazard on your plate. So there you have it, the 9 foods you should never stick in the fridge. Want a healthier kitchen? Start by reorganizing based on food type. Keep tropical fruits like bananas and avocados out of the cold until they're fully ripe. Store potatoes and onions in cool, dark spots, never in damp, chilly places. Bread, room temperature or freezer only. Fridge is a no-go. Honey belongs in the pantry, coffee in an airtight container inside a dark cupboard. And as for garlic and tomatoes, treat them like the powerful, natural ingredients they are. Store them smart to lock in their flavor and health-boosting benefits. Now it's your turn. Have you been refrigerating any of these without realizing the risks? What changes will you make today? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your kitchen wins. And hey, thanks for watching.